Got some breaking news. The European Central Bank has now just held rates steady for a third straight time. The European Central Bank holding rates steady as expected at 2%. We're about 14 minutes away from CPI, consumer prices. So we have a lot of breaking financial news to cover for you this morning. We also continue to follow the breaking news on the manhunt, which is still underway for the gunman who's responsible for assassinating political commentator and our friend Charlie Kirk while he was speaking in front of a crowd yesterday at Utah Valley University. The 31-year-old co-founder of Turning Point USA struck by a single bullet about 20 minutes after taking the stage for his American comeback tour. The people around the world are mourning the loss. So what are the driving forces behind the modern conservative movement? I want to bring in North Dakota Senator Kevin Cramer. Senator, the FBI and local Utah police, we're learning, are going to be holding a press conference at 9 a.m. Eastern time. So we're hoping to get more details on the manhunt. But Charlie was such a force in the conservative movement, in particular with our nation's youth. Your thoughts?
Well, like everybody, Cheryl, I mean, it's a profoundly sad day. It's almost hard to put words to it. I woke up this morning hoping I had had a dream, and we're living with this reality. And my initial thought was, oh gosh, Lord, don't let my sadness turn to bitterness or my anger to turn to violent speech, but rather take Charlie Kirk's example. His life was so profound. The only thing more profound, frankly, is his death at such a young age, and it'll be amplified. And that is what Charlie Kirk did. Is he entered into dialogue, like your guest with you in the studio. Many of my messages from Charlie started out or ended with, Senator, we don't always agree, but you always talk to me. And I just cherish that. And we have to get back to that as a country and remember that Charlie's profound patriotism for America was based on his love for God. And our God is a God of peace. Charlie's God is a God of peace. We just have to find unity in that.
He was a devoted Christian, a devoted father, a devoted husband. And, you mentioned his love of and his belief in political discourse, healthy political discourse. Listen to him back in 2022 talking about that exact topic.
We need to have more courage, get out into the public square, debate the issues, and get people involved. And do not let your school boards run wild, and stay active. Don't forget to vote and challenge the principles.
And, when he had these events like he had yesterday, he would invite those that disagreed with him to come to the front to speak with him face to face.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there's lots of, obviously, examples, lots of video of him being confronted by somebody much angrier than he was. And it seemed he had that gift, that ability to, as the other person got angrier, he became calmer. And he had this ability to actually encourage their courage to even challenge him. And Cheryl, I don't know what the issue is, why we're so easily offended anymore. Maybe in this country, with victimhood, it seems to have become almost an aspirational goal for some people. But our founders argued all the time. They had rich debate. They didn't have social media. They didn't have 24-hour cable news, but they had rigorous debate. And then they got together. The thing I love about most football games in America today is the end of the game is when they get in the middle, both sides, and pray together. We just have to find a way to unify around the things that we agree on and that bind us together.
Well, there is still the business at hand, sir, for you today, and there's important work underway for you and your Senate colleagues. We've got 7 legislative days left to prevent this government shutdown. The White House is hoping that deadline can be extended to January 31st. Now, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is warning that your plan to keep the government open is not good enough. Watch.
What the Republicans have proposed is not good enough to meet the needs of the American people and not good enough to get our votes. Democrats have always said we need to meet the needs of the American people, particularly when it comes to costs and health care costs. Leader Thune needs to sit down with us and negotiate a bipartisan bill that meets these needs in order to get something to pass.
Senator, your reaction to those words?
Well, first of all, Chuck Schumer is having his own internal battle within his own party with the far left. And, the last time he agreed to a continuing resolution, and I would remind people, a continuing resolution means continuing to fund the government at current levels, which we are, basically doing in response to the last time that Chuck Schumer was the leader. And Joe Biden's budget was what we were dealing with, and in many respects still are. So the idea that somehow a Joe Biden budget wasn't good enough to meet the demands of the people. I think what Senator Schumer is specifically talking about when he talks about health care is the expiration on the Biden COVID premium tax credits, which accelerated government's involvement, taxpayer-funded health care to the tune of 6 million people, more than 6 million people who improperly were enrolled in this completely taxpayer-funded scheme that many people didn't even know they had. And over 12 million people didn't even use the insurance that the government is paying 100% of in the last year. So that's what he's specifically talking about. Cheryl, I don't know what the outcome will be in terms of some sort of a compromise. For Senate Republicans, we're not looking to go till January 31st, which is what the White House would like us to do. We'd like to have something shorter than that so that we can negotiate across the aisle with our Democratic friends on a better, longer-term solution. But I think Senator Schumer has his own political fights that he's sort of amplifying in all of this. At the end of the day, I think we've all learned through history that there's no political party or any institution that benefits from a government shutdown. And the cleaner, the better. That's what Senator Thune keeps saying. The cleaner the continuing resolution so that we can get on with the business of appropriating through regular order, the better. And I just think that Chuck Schumer has to be against something for a while until they become for it.
Well, and to your point, the party that takes the blame for a government shutdown usually suffers politically. So, and he knows that he very well. Senator Kevin Cramer, thank you so much for joining us. A lot to cover with you this morning. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Thanks, Cheryl.